right, hello there, the internet. Chris is struggling. We are back here again after COTA. Pretty interesting weekend. Just a nugget to start off everything. This was the first race we've had since what is it, 2017 or something like that? No, before. I don't know how long it's been. No, we had stage cautions
2016,
before 2020. 2016, that's what it was. Since 2016, where we didn't have stage cautions. What do you think about that?
It felt weird. It honestly did. It's like you're waiting for the race to go under caution, and it's just like it keeps going. It's just like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess you just get so used to it for so many years. It just kind of puts a culture shock on you. But I like it. It's a different spin to it. You're not having to rely on cautions. I mean, there are still cautions throughout the races, but you don't have to rely on a stage caution to mess with your fuel strategy.
Yeah, because now it's now we're letting the race play out naturally instead of running the race from the green flag to the first caution. You're trying to run your race from green flag to checkered flag, which I think is really cool too. So it's like I liked it. I think honestly, I've never had an issue with stages. I know a lot of people just like viscerally hate stage racing. I was one of the feels like the few people who didn't mind stage racing, but seeing a race without stages was honestly really refreshing, and I would love to see NASCAR expand upon that, maybe bringing it to a handful of oval races this year too. Maybe even like, I don't know, somebody posted saying they should do the Coke 600 without stages. I think that'd be pretty funny to do that.
I don't know about that.
Nah, let's do it. Coke 600, no stages. Let's go.
I mean, I definitely like it.
600 miles of straight racing.
Yeah, I definitely like it without having stage breaks on the road courses, because it made no sense at all to me. But it's definitely made the racing a lot better, in my opinion.
Yeah, if anything, we can maybe one of the shorter races this season. Like, don't we go to Pocono soon? Like, let's just run like a Pocono race or something without stages and see how
I'm
that
up
goes.
for that. Because Pocono is usually like those races where there's not a whole lot of cautions. So I think
usually Pocono becomes a shit show at the end, but it's more so because Pocono has a similar issue as the road courses, where the track is so big that the stages are like 10 laps anyway. So it's like just take the stages away from Pocono.
Yeah, I do want to say that I'm kind of glad there weren't that many cautions during the race. Like, there was a couple where that I missed. I think there was one with like Ryan Blaney when he got dumped by Larson.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of glad that they didn't throw the caution for that. I mean, I feel like there's a few times where like they didn't want to throw the caution. Like, I think when Cole Custer got stuck. The poor guy.
Custer's having a season, but we'll cover that in a minute. I guess.
But I'm just it just felt like they were trying not to force it. They're just like, all right, let's try to keep it green. But I think once it came to a point where they're like, he's not going to get out, we have to like go get him, and they had to throw the caution. But definitely a good weekend of racing, I would say, for the road course.
Yeah. So let's start off with the truck race then. I guess that would make the most sense to start off with. Now I don't have my tab open for some reason, but there was a moment where I thought the truck race was actually going to go caution free, because they went most of that race without a single yellow. Like, almost the entirety of the race went green.
Well, I think the only yellow they had was for Hocevar, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. And so it's like majority of that race went green. And that was pretty cool to see too. Like, you got to see all the strategy play out and all the fun stuff that was going on there.
Yeah.
So honestly, I was enjoying the no stage cautions, because it's like the stage would end and they would award points, but then there was no yellow. And I think that's a good way to go about it. So honestly, with as much as the fans like it and the fact that it didn't really disrupt the racing, I think there's a chance we might see that implemented next year, I feel like. But
yeah, I definitely hope it stays with the road courses for sure. But
yeah, I'm sure it will.
I mean, I wouldn't turn down a Pocono stageless caution race.
Yeah, I think we implement it slowly, where we start at road courses in Pocono, and then maybe 2024 or 2025 we might see full length races again without stages, or at least stage cautions.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely have to play it out and see. But um
But talking about truck races anyway, race pretty much went green. I think the only real issue in the race was actually there was a couple issues because there were a
Cuppers.
couple of drivers out of the race for various issues, but nothing. I guess the biggest thing would be Matt Crafton, because what happened? Do you know what he's listed for on the thing? Because I was doing some stuff during the truck race. I missed what took out Matt Crafton.
I think he got involved in a wreck, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
It says accident on the thing.
Yeah, he got in a wreck. Maybe that was another caution. I'm not too sure. Let me see.
Yeah, there were a couple cautions in the race, but they were more towards the end, because I know a good chunk of the truck race went green.
He got stuck in the gravel.
Okay. That was enough to end his day?
I think it destroyed something inside the car.
Oh, that sucks. Okay. That's terrible. But Zane Smith wins it 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I think he was my pick.
He was your pick.
Yeah.
And my pick was Kyle Busch, who finished second. So we got a nice little 1-2 finish there on our picks this weekend.
Yeah. And then...
And that's another thing. Kyle's charged back to the front. I know he wasn't going to catch him because of just how far out in front Zane Smith was, but had another yellow come out, I think Kyle would have won that race.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, if there was another late yellow, Kyle won it because that man came flying through the field.
He zoomed. And then
those last couple of restarts.
I think he screwed up his hand.
Yeah, he did.
He had like a
Covered
bunch
in
of blisters. Yeah. Man was like,
yeah,
he was death gripping that thing.
God. Yeah, so we're showing the result. And then Ross Chastain, also nice comeback for them, P5. They spent a little while on pit road with the deck lid open. They were working on some problems in the back of that truck.
I missed that part.
Oh, did you? Yeah, Ross Chastain was having some kind of issue, but he bounced back for a P5. It'll be a couple laps.
And then Mr. Majeski got top 3.
He did. Majeski third. I'm trying to look to see. Nick Sanchez putting together a good season so far too. His rookie season.
Yeah, I mean he finished second last week, and then this week, excuse me.
Another top 10.
Yeah, another top 10. Sorry.
You're good, Mid-yawn.
Yeah, he's been doing pretty good. I'm pretty proud of his progress this year. I think he's looking very prominent this season. So we'll kind of see how he does the rest of the season, but he's had a pretty good start so far with a second at Vegas and I think a second at Atlanta and then now a 7th at COTA. So looking pretty good.
When he's not having problems, he's parking it in the top 10. So that says a lot about his potential driving talent.
Yeah.
And something I want to note, going from looking at the 11th through 20th place finishers, what did I say last week about Rajah Caruth? I specifically said, I don't remember quote for quote, but I know I said something along the lines of, if Rajah Caruth can keep his nose clean and he doesn't have an incident in a race, he can park at top 15. And we 13th. Go to COTA, he runs a clean race, 13th. I nailed it. I nailed that prediction.
That's a lot to be proud of, though. I mean, for that team to finish top 13, it's pretty good because they finished right behind his teammate. So, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it just takes solid finish, keep his nose clean, and he'll get a top 15. And sure enough, he did it.
And same thing with Haley Deegan, ran a pretty clean race, and she's also getting a top 20, just outside the top 15. Just missed it by one spot, finishing 16th. So it's like both of those drivers that had a terrible start to their season, now that they're putting together some clean races, they've been getting the results that they should be getting.
Yeah. So pretty proud moment for them.
Yeah. Also, Colin Garrett finishing 20th for the On Point Motorsports. That's a small team getting a really good finish too. So I want to make sure to give them some credit over there in the 30 truck.
And Mr. Jake Garcia getting a top 20.
Them too. Jake Garcia's been running really well too.
And then Caden Honeycutt, top 15.
Pretty much all the finishers, the good finishes that are of note anyway. Some bad finishes I want to note. Christian Eckes unfortunately got in an accident, ended his day 30th. That was last week's winner. So that's the perfect example of the highs and lows of auto racing. You're in victory lane 1 week, and the next week you're on the rollback, finishing 30th. So
that's just how it be sometimes.
Yeah.
But he was doing pretty good, though. I think he was running up front a lot of the race.
Yeah. He was running well. Unfortunately, the 30th place finish doesn't show that.
Yeah.
But
No, it doesn't.
that's auto racing for you.
Yeah. But.
And then we already talked about Matt Crafton in his woes, and Carson Hocevar had a mechanical problem.
Yeah.
Ended his day. I think it's the same thing with Parker Kligerman. I think Kligerman also had some kind of mechanical issue, didn't he?
Yeah,
That's what ended his day in 31st.
I think they had an electrical issue in the car.
A lot of interesting problems there in the Kligerman camp. Or at least a lot of drivers are having it wasn't even really crashes that were taking these people out. It was more so like electrical problems and suspension issues from the bumps.
Yeah, because a lot of them were just they were sailing into the corners, and I think I'm pretty sure it screwed up their suspension. So
yeah, so it's there weren't even that many crashes. It was more so the bumps and the suspension and the electrical stuff that was taking these guys out.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a ton of notes on the broadcast other than it was a good race. I enjoyed the no stages, but overall it was a pretty clean race. Not really too much going on other than the huge Kyle Busch comeback, his just dominant performance. Honestly, he probably would have won that race had he another yellow came out. But oh wait, we can't end trucks without talking about this. You saw the burnout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He literally set the truck on fire.
Yeah. I don't know how the team's gonna feel about that, but
I don't think they care. They won the race.
the fabricators.
If they had lost the race and the truck was burning to the ground, I think they'd be upset. But the fact that they won the race, I don't think they're as upset.
I think the fabricator would be a little bit upset about that.
I mean, yeah, probably. But waiting for that diecast at Lionel, I think that's going to be a must pick up.
I'm waiting for that Tyler Reddick one.
You're not going to get a Tyler Reddick one.
I'm gonna fight the system. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Yeah.
Do it. Go fight him. Do you think? Hold on. Is Lionel gonna give us a pre-fire diecast or a post-fire diecast?
I think it's gonna
Zane
be
Smith's
a
truck?
pre-fire.
They can't though. It better be a post-fire.
Because the way I see it, they're gonna be like, well, we're gonna release the one when he won the race before the fire. I don't know. I don't think it's
well, but they based it on the victory lane photos, and if the photographer didn't get the photos before the truck burned down, then we should get a post-fire.
It would be cool
diecast, which I would love.
But
I would love a post-fire diecast.
I just have a feeling it's gonna be. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be a good one or if it's gonna look like kind of bad.
Nah, it's gonna look great. The truck itself look good. I mean, it's a race winner. You gotta come on. I want the post-fire one. I want the burned up. I want the crispy Zane Smith diecast in the worst way.
I want the powder extinguisher all over my diecast, please.
Exactly. If they don't, I'll just get white spray paint. And I'll do it myself.
I'll
just set my diecast on fire. Yeah, no, I'll just set my diecast on fire. I'll just do that.
There you go.
I'll do that. But, well, I guess we'll see because they released those photos about midweek. And so I think in the next couple of days or so, we should see the Lionel photos from the race. So hopefully we get post-fire. And then I guess it takes Lionel a really long time to get these in production. So a couple of days we'll see the photos and then give it a couple months and we'll see the production diecast. And hopefully it's crispy.
Crispy. Well, did they already release the pictures?
If they did, I didn't see them. They might have. I know they made the announcement, but I don't know if they released any pictures. Let me go to Lionel really quick.
No, they haven't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it usually takes them a couple of days. Yeah, so it'll probably be like Wednesday or Thursday. They'll probably release the reference photos, but really rolling it to be a crispy one. Do you got any notes on the truck race since we both kind of missed it?
No, that's it.
Okay. You want to skedaddle on into the points here then?
The point series, yeah.
Yeah, the point series. So It's been a minute since I have covered how this works. And so for those of you who haven't watched one of our podcasts before and are very confused about why our point system is so very different, we're not basing our points off the official NASCAR championship. This is something that we're doing for fun, just to kind of spice things up a little bit. We've created our own point system to kind of go off of. And so it's different depending on the series because of the different field sizes. And so there's a graphic on the screen right now that's going to break it all down for you guys. But essentially, for the way it works in the truck series, a full field is considered to be 36 trucks. And so first place is pretty much going to earn 36 points, and it's just going to drop 1 point down per position to last place earning 1 point. And that pretty much transitions over to Xfinity and Cup, where, first place is going to get 38 because that's the full field size. It drops down. And then Cup, full field is 40 points, 40 cars. And so winner's going to get 40 points, and it drops down. In terms of bonus points, there are 10 bonus points available. So if you win the pole, that's going to be a bonus point. A lap led is 2 points. Most laps led is 3 points. Then you get 4 bonus points for the win. And so it pretty much progresses upward to the grand total of 10. And so that's pretty much how we're distributing our points. And so now, with that explanation out of the way, looking at the Truck Series points for the DVR standings, Zane Smith still is leader. I don't think there's a change there. I think he was leading the points last week as well. You have Ty Majeski in second with Ben Rhodes, Christian Eckes, and Grant Enfinger rounding out the top 5. And now looking at 6th through 10th, we have Tanner Gray in 6th, followed by Tyler Ankrum, Corey Heim, Chase Purdy, and then Matt Crafton rounding out the top 10 here.
Ooh. I got Zane Smith, Majeski, Rhodes, Eckes, and Enfinger for top 5.
Oh, our top 5 is exactly the same. Okay.
Crafton, Ankrum, DiBenedetto, Corey Heim, and Tanner Gray in top 10.
Oh, okay. Our top 10 is... Our 6th through 10th is completely different.
Yeah.
That's the fun part. Because it's something else to try to... We were trying to try to... The reason I came up with this DVR point system is also try to, emphasize what NASCAR wanted to emphasize, because, the importance of points. And so I think we set it up in a way where it's every position matters, and a win and having a good weekend is definitely going to benefit you. And so I think that's why we're going to see the points. I guess as the season progresses, it's going to start getting real interesting to see how similar or different our point system is based on the official NASCAR point system. And I think it's really funny that our top 5 is exactly the same, and then we hit 6th, and it's just all derailed from there.
Yeah.
Anybody want to take a nice little poke at for trucks?
Deegan.
Where's Deegan in points? She is 21st in points currently on the
jeez.
DVR points sheet.
She's higher.
In the official points?
Yeah, she's 18th.
18.
She's actually tied for 17th.
Oh, okay. She's on her own little island in 21st. Actually, how far back is she from 20th? Because I have Chris Wright ahead of her in the points. She's 11 points out of 20th behind Chris Wright. Right. Anybody else you want to take a nice little stab at before we move on into Xfinity?
Nope, that's it.
That's it. All right. Well, let's skedaddle on into Xfinity. Pretty much the same thing here for Xfinity. I was a wee bit busy during this race. I was actually pretty busy all weekend, and so I was only able to halfway pay attention. But the big standout to me for Xfinity was pretty much the same thing as a truck race, where it's I still enjoyed the racing without the thing. It was fun to see the strategies pan out, and it was a pretty clean race. We didn't have a ton of incidences. The only drivers that were really taken out were the same things, whereas it was a lot of suspension and mechanical issues that took drivers out.
Yeah, you saw a lot of that, because there's let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There were 6 DNFs. Only 6 cars didn't finish the race,
and all of them
and that would have been, were all of them electrical and suspension issues?
Yeah, except for one was steering.
When it was steering. Well, yeah, I guess it's still a mechanical issue. So it's the drivers that didn't finish would be were Brennan Poole, Brett Moffitt, Sage Karam, Preston Pardis, Austin Hill, and Carson Hocevar. And I really want to talk about Carson Hocevar and Austin Hill really fast, because Hocevar, his car, he was driving for Blaine Perkins to replace him in the SS Greenlight car, and he had a mechanical issue in the exact same spot in both the truck race and the Xfinity race.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe it's just a coincidence, but the dude had like two bad races. Both him and Parker had two mechanical issues. But at least Parker was able to finish it.
That's true. That's something you brought up earlier, like right before we started, is that Parker Kligerman finished 31st in both races.
Yeah. It's just, it's crazy. Because, like, I don't know, I mean, at least he was able to finish, but yeah, just the amount of bad luck that they had was just, it's just crazy.
Yeah, and Cole Custer finishing 32nd after getting stuck in the gravel. Oh. When will the pain end for Cole Custer?
Seriously, the poor bastard. He literally just...
He's having rough go of it.
Yeah. Like, the amount of bad luck he's had this year is just insane.
I still can't get over the Auto Club. He had a dominant car in the Auto Club and just had a flat tire and then got run over. And then since then, he's just haven't had any luck at all.
I know. Vegas.
Like, he's had a couple decent runs here and there, but nothing really to write home about.
Yeah, nothing too major. It's just been like a, I don't know, it's just been like a
top 15, top 10 here and there.
Yeah, it's just been like a basic thing. It just hasn't been really that flashy. I guess like not a lot that we kind of been used to when he used to run Xfinity, but I don't know. I'm hoping his luck turns around, but we'll see.
I know he's hoping his luck turn around. Speaking of luck turning around, Austin Hill. This is the first race he has finished outside of the top 10.
Oh.
And so I guess to answer the question from Atlanta, can Austin Hill be stopped? The answer is yes, but it's a mechanical issue to stop him.
If you want to stop him, you got to mess with his engine.
Yeah. So 37th is a big oof on the Austin Hill season.
Even if you have 2 wins.
He's got 3 wins, my guy.
Oh, 3?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Can he be stopped? Yes, only by a mechanical problem. Pinned him in 37th at COTA.
Gotta throw some taco. What was it Mike Waltrip threw? Taco.
Some taco lettuce down this track bar gesture. Yeah. God, you know what? This is my one complaint from the broadcast. Because we got to talk about the broadcast at some point too. They didn't even really mention the Austin Hill DNF. They came back from a commercial or something, and they were like, "Oh yeah, and Austin Hill's in the garage." I'm like, "This is the points leader and the most dominant car of this season so far. He's just gonna get a brief mention." I don't even think they interviewed him. I think they were just like, "Yeah, he's out. He had an injury problem."
Oh no,
my guy, He's got 3 wins and the point. No, it really was. They really did go. Oh no. Anyway. It's like I think that would be a bigger deal. They'd be like, this guy has been kicking everyone's ass this season, and all you're gonna say is that, oh, he's out the engine failure. It's like, oh,
what?
I think you would turn this into a bigger deal.
I know, like you would at least. I wouldn't say make it like a top priority, but I mean, shit, say something about it.
Yeah, at least give the man an interview or something.
Yeah.
Like that was an oof, because I feel like that's the story right there that wasn't properly covered. But just looking at the rest of the results, we had 3 Cup drivers in the top 3 spots. AJ Allmendinger bullied his way to a win. Absolutely railed Sheldon Creed for the win there. William Byron sliding in 2nd, and then Ty Gibbs in 3rd. So. Yeah.
Although Sheldon Creed had it won, I would say.
I don't want to say he had it won, but he didn't really have a chance after he got booted.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
Because the Allmendinger car was very, very strong.
He was, but
sorry, I'll let you finish your thought.
No, I'm just saying, like, you're right. It's like you won't really know, but it just kind of sucks for him to be taken out of contention that quick. Because he really didn't have like a fighting chance. Like once he was booted out of the way, he had to work his way back up, and I think the highest he got was 9th.
Yeah, he finished 9th.
Yeah, it's just it's difficult to say.
So, yeah, he was definitely robbed. I don't want to say he had the race won, just because Allmendinger was just on a rampage on his way back through the field. So I I don't think Sheldon Creed would have hung on to the win. I think eventually Allmendinger would have worked his way around him.
Well, it was hard for him too.
I just think that car was just so much stronger, but he didn't even give him a fighting chance to hold them off. Like, there was a chance Creed could have held them off and won the race, but he wasn't even given that option. He was just bulldozed.
Yeah. And I think it's hard for AJ too, because he was just like, he was being almost ran over by what do you call it? Byron. Because Byron was pretty quick too.
Yeah. They were all pretty quick. That's why I'm saying I don't want to say that Sheldon Creed had the race won, because there's really no way to prove that, but he definitely had a strong enough car to at least give AJ a run for his money.
Yeah.
Just like we saw with Byron. Byron was really giving AJ a run for his money in those final laps. I think, honestly, had he not slipped up in that corner, I think we could have had, like, that would have come down to the line.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's pretty intense, because, I mean, like, it wasn't like they were racing side by side, but you can definitely tell that he was getting a run, and you're right. If he wouldn't have slipped, he probably would have had a chance at it towards the end.
Could you imagine if Creed had been a part of that too? We could have had a 3-car battle for the win because all those cars were so strong.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been
hopefully it wasn't like
really good. Because here's the thing.
Where they all just
because it's like
each other.
Yeah, no, but because honestly, William Byron's car was, I think, a lot stronger than people gave it credit for. I guess he was like matching Allmendinger's lap times, and like I said, had he not slipped, I don't know if he would have been able to get around him, but he definitely would have been right up his ass at the finish line.
Yeah, he would have been like right there.
Yeah, because he was going toe for toe. Like, every corner that he went through, that Allmendinger went through, Byron was like right in his tire tracks, and he was like real close. Honestly, if like AJ had put in one toe out of line, Byron would have been by. So that was an incredible battle to watch at the end.
Yeah, no, that definitely would have been a great battle between the three of them.
You know, that just proves you gotta be perfect those final laps. No mistakes. When they say no mistakes, they mean no mistakes, because one mistake cost Byron the win. And looking at some of these other finishers, there's another thing of note here. Oh, 2 things of note. I'm looking at Sam Mayer, and I'm looking at 3 Junior Motorsports cars in the top 10. And you know what that means? That means I think Dale Jr. finally went and yelled at somebody, because there was no domestic terrorism this weekend from the JRM cars.
They were pretty calm today. Not calm today. Calm on Saturday.
Yeah, and it put 3 of them in the top 10.
Hey, there you go. Oh, really?
So, yeah, Justin Allgaier 5th, Sam Mayer 7th, Josh Berry 8th. That's 3 of the JRM cars in the top 10 because of no domestic violence. So,
Jones finished right outside.
Yep, just barely missed it. So, yeah, that's all the JRM cars having really solid finishes. Even Miguel Paludo finishing 13th. So all 5 of the JRM cars this weekend, all top 15. And so you see what you can do when you don't have domestic terrorism happening in your race shop. It's great. Another thing that I really want to note is Riley Herbst. Do you want to know a fun fact about Riley Herbst real quick?
Sure.
He is currently the only full-time Xfinity driver to finish every single race in the top 10.
Wow. He has 2 top 5s and 6 top 10s.
Yep, we're 6 races in, 6 top 10s. He's the only full-time driver right now to finish every race in the top 10. So we're seeing a brand new Riley Herbst this year. Yeah, because Austin Hill would have been the only other driver, but because of that mechanical issue, it now leaves Riley Herbst as the lone driver to finish every race top 10.
Yeah, I think he's definitely promised. I can't say the word. He's looking more prominent to have a better Jesus Christ, I can't talk.
Better season?
Yes. Thank you, Michael.
Okay, there it is. It's okay, take your time. You'll get there eventually.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, we're seeing a brand new Riley Herbst this year, and I think he really needed that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it just takes time, because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, some people saw him and they thought he was just going to be awful this year.
Well, because his past seasons have been telling us that he was going to be awful, but like,
he's learned a lot.
This year he's surprised a lot of people. Yeah. And so I want to see how long he can keep the top 10 streak alive. Now that he's the only one, I want to see how many he can scramble together this year, because I think that's going to be an interesting thing to watch, just to see how many top 10s he can put together. I already mentioned Miguel Paludo, but Alex LeBay finishing 15th in the 92, replacing Josh Williams after the Atlanta stunt. So that's a really good finish for that team too, in their relief effort for Williams.
Yeah, pretty good finish. Who else? We got Jeremy Clements with a top 15, Alex Obey with a 15th, Anthony Alfredo 16th.
Both the same Hunt cars finishing next to each other, 18th and 19th.
I mean, it's a lot better than last week. Eric Almirola finished 24th. I didn't even realize Miguel Paludo was racing.
Oh, you forgot Paludo was racing?
Yeah.
Ah, I remembered. That's why I noted it. It's also really hard to miss his car number because you can't see the graphic right now because we're recording. But for the audience listening along and watching, you look at the graphic. That's a very bright green 88 that he was running. And so,
yeah.
Got any notes? Any more notes on Xfinity before we roll into points?
I think I'm good.
Now let's take a quick little peek at the Xfinity Series points. This is also the way the you're not being able to talk is now spread over to me. Another fun benefit of the way that we set up the DVR points is that it also does benefit consistency. That's something else that we think is really important. And so even though Austin Hill DNF'd, he is still the points leader because of how good his season has been. And so Austin Hill still leading the points with John Hunter Nemechek in second and having 6 consecutive top 10s for Riley Herbst. That puts him in third. We have Josh Berry in fourth and Chandler Smith in fifth. Looking at 6th through 10th now, we have Sam Mayer in 6th, Sammy Smith in 7th, followed by Justin Allgaier, Daniel Hemrick, and then Parker Kligerman to round out the top 10.
Ooh, I got Austin Hill, Riley Herbst, John Hunter Nemechek, Allgaier, and Chandler Smith in 5th. 6th is Sam Mayer, Sammy Smith, Sheldon Creed, Josh Berry, and then Daniel Hemrick in 10th.
It's fun to see how different these points are. I like that. The Xfinity Series is a little bit similar here and there, just a couple drivers around, but I figured with I thought Riley Herbst would be in second on DVR at this point, but he's only third. He's not that far behind second. I think he's only about 5 points out from second place. So I think if Riley Herbst can put together another top 10, and then John Hunter Nemechek has another weird race, that would definitely put Riley Herbst up in second. But then I remembered that John Hunter's also had a very, very consistent season. I think this is also the first race John Hunter's had outside the top 10. So the top 3 cars have run very, very consistent this year in terms of where they are in points.
Yeah.
So Hill, Nemechek, and Herbst all having really, really good seasons. So be interesting to see how that points battle works its way out through the season if things continue the way they're going.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how that works out.
Now it's time for Cup.
Yeah.
First of all, what did you think about the broadcast for Cup this weekend?
I missed most of it, but what I've heard is that it was chaotic. And I can kind of agree.
So
I mean, because they had
they
had Kurt, Gunther, Mike Joy, Clint Boyer, and Larry Mack.
And Chase Elliott.
Did they have Larry Mack?
Yeah.
Okay, they had Chase Elliott. Yeah, it's a lot of people to do a broadcast. I mean, it's a bit overkill. I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah, they tried to do too much. Like I liked the idea of having Chase Elliott in the booth because he's not racing, so it gives us some good insight on maybe what some of the current drivers are dealing with. But I feel like if you're gonna put Chase Elliott in the booth, why have all of these other guest analysts on too? So
yeah, I think and the way I see it is that they probably planned this out, and then they're like, oh well, since Chase is not racing, let's just throw him in there, and then I don't know, to me it just felt too crowded. I felt like you had too many people in the booth, and then everybody's talking over each other, and it just becomes a whole mess.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got too. Just too much going on all at once, and then it wasn't super organized. And then my other thing I thought was really weird was not only did they have Chase as a guest analyst, but he wasn't even there in person. He was like remote analyzing, and some people on Twitter were like, it looks like he's just in a cage somewhere doing the race. So it's like, that was another issue that I had. It's like, if you're gonna have him on the broadcast, can we like properly have him on the broadcast and not just like remoting in? Because it's like, it's hard to give commentary when you're not actively being able to see what's happening. And so I think that's another thing that hurt the broadcast was that not only were there too many people there, but what if the commentators can't even really see what's happening because they're doing it remotely?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it looked like from his point of view. Like, I don't know if they had it where he was like watching the broadcast or what, but yeah, it's just it's too many people.
Interesting decisions being made in terms of the booth.
Yeah.
They could have just had Gunther and Kurt in the booth this weekend, and then next weekend probably would have thrown Chase Elliott on the broadcast. And
I think they should have threw Kurt in next week.
That works too. I feel like either way, like I don't know what they were doing with that many people at once. I think just spacing them out would have been a lot smarter. And say, maybe Gunther this week, and then next week we'll have Kurt, and the week after that we can have Chase Elliott. Just something like that. But I think they had too much of a good thing, and it just made the whole broadcast awkward.
Yeah. I mean, it was nice having Kurt in the COTA one, too. Because I feel like that whole moment just made it, like, mean more.
Kurt Busch had me crying up in the club.
Yeah. He had me shed some man tears.
There you go. God, yeah. But oh boy, my other thing, I'll talk about it when we get to the results, and so I'm going to hold off on that for a second. But the end of the race, I was getting annoyed. I was actually very annoyed by the end of this race. Oh my God, how can we run so long, so well, and then just, it's like Kyle said last weekend, there's just absolutely they were just running people over.
Well, he said it after the race too.
Yeah, I just...
it's like there's no respect, and it was kind of funny. Not really. I mean, it's just it was kind of a perfect moment, but like he was talking about it, and then like Ross Chastain comes up right next to him. They're like, speaking of somebody who doesn't knows respect.
Yeah, a race cleaner or something like that. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he definitely called out Ross Chastain. That was funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But he's right though. It's like these races, it's almost like whenever there's a late race, this is bad as a NASCAR fan too. Whenever there's a caution with like less than 10 to go, I immediately expect it to be an absolute wreck fest.
Yeah, it's just
because it's happened enough that it's expected now.
It does. And then like I don't know, I've seen it throughout the whole race too. Like everybody just dive bombs the corner and just like, oh, well, I'm just going to set it in and hope it works. And sure enough, we saw it. I mean, we saw it with Larson. We've seen it with other drivers. I mean, you saw it with Chastain when he dive bombed into the first turn and took out his teammate. Yeah,
because he pushed Bowman into Suarez, and that was... Did you see all those post-race altercations after the race?
Yeah, I did.
Where, Suarez came after Bowman and he was mad at Bowman, so then Bowman then had to explain to Suarez that he was being pushed by the one car. So then Suarez goes over to talk to Chastain. And this is what surprises me. It looked like Suarez just had the word and then was going to be done with it. And then Chastain gets out of his car, like, yelling at him. It's like, dude, this is your teammate. This is the one guy who you shouldn't be pissing off right now. You're going to get out of the car and go argue with him after it looks like Suarez is done. So, and then they got an argument on the pit road. It's like, Ross Chastain has no friends. He's just...
Nobody.
Just pissed off his last friend.
The man's going to be clubbing alone.
He really is going to be clubbing alone. No more tacos for Ross Chastain.
Poor guy. I mean, like, he did it to himself. I mean, like, he's
even poor guy.
I wouldn't say poor guy, but it's just like he's pretty much put a target on his back. Because everybody said it about him. Just like, they're like, they don't like racing with Ross because like the way he drives. And like his teammate was like pretty much the only person that could defend him. And then now he pissed off his teammate. And his teammate's like, you know what? I don't care about him anymore. It's like, he's like, I'm not going to try to save him anymore. It's like, he just wrecked me.
He did.
And you're right. It's like he was saying his words and it was going to left at that. And then he just kind of pissed him off even more by arguing back with him.
Out of the car. Did you hear what he said?
No.
Oh my God. It's hard to hear, so I can't really... I couldn't hear the whole conversation, but I turned my audio up in my headphones to try to kind of decipher what he was saying. And the only clear thing that I really heard Ross Chastain say after he got out of the car was he told Daniel Suarez to stop acting all high and mighty.
Oh, I think I heard that part.
And I was like, dude, you can't. No. Because it looked like Suarez was done. Like,
Yeah.
he was kneeling in the window. He was walking away. Obviously, he was visually upset, but he didn't look like super upset. And then Chastain got out of the car, was saying his piece, and then I heard him tell him not to be all high and mighty. Then you could see, like, Suarez, he was like, after that, he was just like, then he was getting done. Then he was actually making him mad. Just like, bro, just leave it alone. Like, just take the L. Like, I understand trying to defend yourself, but coming over and just attacking your teammate like that is not the move.
It's not. It honestly isn't.
Because I know Suarez and Bowman had a conversation, so I think that's what it was. I think Suarez was trying to figure out what happened. He thought he got cleaned out by Bowman, so he had to talk with Bowman. I guess they're okay now because they talked about it. So then Suarez came over to ask Chastain, and then that was a whole thing. It's just like, my God, no friends.
No friends at all. Like,
I mean, finished fourth though, so I guess it's hard to argue the results, but at the same time, like, it's only a matter of time before he's going to get absolutely no help at all from anybody ever again.
yeah. I mean, he's pissed off so many people now. It's just like, it's not even funny. Everybody says it about him. It's just like, I don't know if he just doesn't care or what, but you're right. It's going to get to a point where nobody's going to want to help him. We're going to go to a restrictor plate race, and like, everybody's just going to leave him out to hang. And he did it to Bowman last week. He left him hanging, and then Bowman was pissed at him. He's just like, oh, whatever. Like, he's just like, I'm just here to race, and it's like, dude, like, you just left me to hang. I thought we were working together. You just blew me off.
Yeah, because I don't think we covered that during the Atlanta race. I think we forgot about it, but yeah, that was something that happened because I went back and I looked at it, and I think Chevrolet was like, hey, we need to beat these Fords up front because Ford was just dominating that whole race, and so because Bowman and Chastain were pretty much the only Chevys near each other, I think Chevy came on and was like, hey, you need to work together to try to beat these Fords. Maybe pick up Corey LaJoie while you're on the way to the front. And then you look at the replay, the dude just turns left and drives around him. I'm just like, oh.
I know. Right. I was like, what? Because I was like, why is he mad at him? And then somebody showed the replay. I'm just like, oh, God. He just, like, left him hang. Like, he was sitting there waiting for him to push him, and he just, like, turns straight left and then just leaves him hanging. I'm like, dude.
And here's the thing. We know Bowman has a fast car. We know Chastain has a fast car. And Corey LaJoie proves that he's really good at plate racing. So had Chastain cooperated, I know that he could have pushed Bowman to the front. They could have picked up LaJoie, and then they really could have broken up the Penske brigade and taken over the Toyotas that were up there. It's like those are three really good cars that day. And, you know, Chastain decided not to help, but it ended up just coming down to Ford and Toyota, and Ford won, even though the whole plan was to try to get the Chevys up there to try to take the win away from Ford.
Yeah, that didn't work out too well.
No, it didn't work out because of a certain guy in the number one car.
Oh, man.
Corey LaJoie was up there fighting for his life along with Brad Keselowski.
They're literally just trying to fight their way to the finish, and then Chastain just like, excuse me, like, I'm just going to squeeze right by you.
Yeah. But, God, the whole end of the Cup race was... NASCAR was trying so hard to not throw the caution on some of those times, but there was just so much debris everywhere. There were cars parked in gravel. There was, like... I'm surprised they didn't throw that one last caution at the end when Almirola and Bell and all those people crashed, because it was like... They were definitely dropping pieces and parts and putting fluid down, but I think that at that point NASCAR was also tired of it, so they just never threw the yellow.
Yeah, because Bell's car was just destroyed. It was just like completely like smashed in.
Yeah, so was Almirola's.
Yeah.
I think Logano was involved in that wreck too.
I'm pretty sure he was.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember. There was something else that happened at the end, but I think coming to the checkered, Fox never showed a replay. I haven't seen footage of it.
Oh, I think I know.
But somebody got wrecked coming to the checkered.
Yeah, I forgot who it was.
And it was on the front stretch too. Like from what I remember, they got turned coming down the front stretch, and they hit the inside wall coming to the checkered. I'm trying to remember who it was.
Was it Logano?
It might have been. I don't remember honestly off the top of my head. But somebody just got cleaned out coming to the finish. A lot of people got cleaned out, but specifically whoever that was got turned coming to the line. So
yeah, I forgot who it was, but somebody got turned for sure.
The entire finish was just, it was a great race, and that's what makes me upset too, is that like it was a great race that just devolved into an absolute fustercluck for no real reason.
It honestly, yeah, it's true.
Like, there was no good reason for them to be driving like that.
No, I mean, like, it's just they're being overly aggressive for no reason.
It's like, I understand wanting to win the race. That's great. Obviously, you get paid to win the race. But when it's like, when you're just sending it into a corner and hoping that you make it, that's not racing.
No, it was just completely. It was just terrible.
It was such a good race, though. And then that happened. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I was just annoyed at that point. It's like, I can't do this. But anyway, on a lighter note, let's take a look at the finishing results, because I could gripe on about the finish all day long. But let's take a look at some of the results. And obviously, your winner, Tyler Reddick, finally getting it done. He made a grown man cry, made Kurt Busch cry,
In a good way.
that made me, in a good way.
But he's won like 4 of the last 5 road courses.
Yeah, he's doing good, and just all the bad luck that Tyler Reddick had to start this season. It's so refreshing for him to finally get up there and get a win.
Didn't his first win come out of a road course too?
I think so. We're gonna have to look that up, so don't quote me on that. But that sounds correct.
Ah, yeah, it was. It was Road America.
So yeah, it was really nice to see, and that was your pick too.
Yeah.
Speaking of picks,
Did all 3 of my picks
your pick won? Holy shit! Wait, did that? Yeah, actually.
I can't remember if they did or not.
Because I picked Kyle Busch to win the truck race, and he finished second. We both picked Allmendinger. That's because you didn't respond to me. Because we're not supposed to pick the same driver. And so, because I had the better average finish from Atlanta, I got to pick first. And so I made my picks, and I sent them to you. And you had picked Allmendinger, and I told you, hey, I already picked Allmendinger, and you just never responded to me. And so I had to put it on the thing.
Oops.
And so we both picked Allmendinger, but let it be known that I picked him first.
You were the true winner.
I was the true winner, but then you picked Reddick, and Reddick won. I would like to explain myself. I know last weekend I said I wasn't going to pick Jordan Taylor.
Who did you pick originally?
My original pick was going to be Kyle Busch, who finished second. But I went with Jordan Taylor because I made the mistake of looking at the practice charts and the qualifying results and saying, oh, he's actually doing really good. He might have a chance. And so I changed my pick last second before, like, literally that morning. I was like, you know what? I think this would be a really cool story. I low-key kind of want it to happen. And so I'm changing my pick to Jordan Taylor. And guess who finished 24th? Jordan Taylor.
Jordan Taylor. I mean,
so that was a mistake.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell because like he had a really good like start up for the weekend. Like he had a really good qualifying run. He had a good practice run, and I was like, oh wow, he actually might be doing pretty good. I think it's just the fact that.
I think he got dumped late in the race. I think that's what he said.
Yeah, that, and then like he even said it himself, like he wasn't too used to like the restarts and like racing against everybody. So I'm sure that one was kind of like a completely different to what he's used to.
Yeah, because I think they said he was 10th on one of the late restarts, but then he just kept getting clobbered. I think that's another thing. It's like as a sports car driver, you're not allowed to just drive into a thing and just clobber people. And so I think he wasn't ready for that. And I think that's why he fell back so far, is because he was running top 10. And then with all the late race restarts, he just kept getting bullied. And I just think he couldn't keep up because he's not used to just being pushed and shoved and just straight up driven through like he was. So, which goes back to the etiquette thing where it's like, Jesus Christ, guys. But I'm saying it's a mistake that I picked him because it's like this is another example of don't go against your gut, because my gut told me to pick Kyle Busch, and I made the decision to change it with Jordan Taylor, knowing that he had never run one of these races. And so I could have been looking at a 2-1-2 weekend, but instead I'm looking at a 2-1-24. So
2-1.
That's just how it be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my. I should have stuck with Kyle Busch, but I didn't. But that's the top two there. We could have had another crispy 1-2 finish, but oh well. I'll take the L on that one. I think we already covered Alex Bowman and Ross Chastain finishing 3rd and 4th. William Byron, another strong run for him, finishing 5th. Then we got Austin Cindric, Ricky Stenhouse, Chris Buescher, Ty Gibbs, and Todd Gilliland running out the top 10, which is actually a really good run for Todd Gilliland. And Ricky Stenhouse. Those are two drivers I wasn't really ready for being in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, for Todd Gilliland is pretty good because, I mean, he's pretty much had like an up and down season. Just with him, losing his ride for a part-time schedule. And then him just kind of just getting some bad luck.
He can still do it.
He can do it.
He can do it. And actually, here's something fun. Core of the Joy Inspired Motorsports. That's a team that usually we're just used to them showing up on the super speedways, but he finished 11th in COTA. So I think that team all around has actually been doing really, really good this year. I don't know. I think they'd change. I don't know if they've changed anything, but if they did, it was great because Core of the Joy has been having an excellent 2023 so far.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's having a pretty good year. I think with Atlanta, it definitely really helped him a lot because he's been so well at that track, and ever since they reconfigured it, he's been kind of a contender for the win. So it's good for him to get a top 15, almost a top 10 finish.
Yeah, just one short of a top 10 would have been great. And then, then we got some of the usual suspects for road course racing. Got Michael McDowell in 12th, Kevin Harvick, Larson, Briscoe, Hamlin, Truex. And then here's another fun one to mention. Jenson Button finishing 18th in the Rick Ware car.
Rick Racing, yeah, nice top 20 finish.
I think he's the highest finishing ringer, isn't he?
Yes, because Kimi Räikkönen finished 29th, and then actually Jordan Taylor finished 24th.
Yeah, so I guess if we're looking at ringers, Button would be the highest finishing.
And then poor Jimmy.
I want to talk about that in a second while we're going through these, but Ryan Blaney, he got dumped a couple of times, ended up 21st. Harrison Burton doing Harrison Burton things back in 22nd. We already discussed Jordan Taylor. Then, we got Ware, Bilicki, Suarez, Logano, Raikkonen. I think Raikkonen got dumped, too, because he was running really well until the end, and then he just probably got pushed around in the melee, ended up 29th.
Yeah.
Eric Almirola, obviously, in that late race, the last lap crash, ended up a lap down. And now looking at the last page of results, I just want to know. I'm so upset. The one thing I'm so mad about, Jimmie didn't even get to race.
He didn't even finish a lap.
No, he didn't. He finished half a lap and then got taken out. And you know what took him out? It wasn't even the crash. It was the DVP clock.
Oh. Poor Jimmie.
That's the one thing I'm really mad about. It's my guy didn't even get to race.
Somebody asked him, they're like, well, since you didn't get to race, are you going to do another race? And he just I think he's pretty pissed off. He's just to be honest, I don't know.
See, that's what I'm mad about. He didn't even get to. I don't even think it was half a lap. I think he got through a fourth of a lap before he got demolished.
Yeah. Because all I know is that he said he saw Ty Dillon go sideways and then just completely smacked him.
What does Ty Dillon even do? Sometimes I forget that the 77 is a Spire car.
I think he got turned.
He got turned. Did he?
I'm pretty sure he got turned because he got sideways. It wasn't just he just turned left and took out Jimmie. He got turned by somebody.
I'm just upset that Jimmie didn't get to race. I was excited to see how Jimmie would do, and then he didn't even finish a lap.
It's just, what can you do?
I mean, nothing in that scenario, but I'm just damn. You at least let the man finish a lap. This is Jimmie Johnson we're talking about.
Mr. 7-time.
Yeah.
He didn't even finish 7 laps.
No. And then Bubba Wallace, I don't know what Bubba was doing. Did he have a brake failure, or did he just overcook the corner and took himself out?
I think he overcooked it. Because I think some people were saying that he had a brake issue, but he just said that he overdrove it, and I think he broke a drive line.
Yeah, so Bubba Wallace and Jimmie Johnson having a terrible day. Jimmie Johnson Jimmie Johnson having the worst day, though. So I think Bubba at least got a couple laps in. Jimmie didn't even get one.
It's on green and yellow.
Yeah. And the race is green. And Jimmie Johnson's upside down. That's pretty much how the race went.
Pretty much. You know what I felt bad for was Connor Daly.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they didn't even mention him a lot. I think...
Well, I mean, he also DNF'd, so...
Yeah, but, like, they didn't even, like, talk about him during the race. Because, like, I think, honestly, if I didn't even know... If I didn't even follow him, I don't think anybody would have talked about him, which just kind of sucks. Because, like, the dude's, like... He's a pretty good IndyCar driver, but, I mean, the team that he drives for is not the greatest, but... Yeah, nobody talked about him. Even like when they first talked about COTA, they're like, "Oh my God, this is going to be such a diverse race. You're going to have Jenson Button, a Formula One champion. You're going to have Kimi Räikkönen, who's also a Formula One champion. You're going to have Jordan Taylor. You're going to have Jimmie Johnson." And then nobody talks about Connor Daly like the dude's a IndyCar driver.
He's just over in the corner waving. He's like, "I'm here too, guys.
I'm here too, guys." Like, the poor bastard didn't even get, like, recognized, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Which I hope he gets a better ride. I mean, the dude's, like, a pretty solid driver.
I'm going to say, a couple of years ago, I know he made a couple starts for Joe Gibbs on the road courses and stuff.
Yeah.
Wonder what happened to that deal.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do we know if Project 91's running any other races this year, or is this their only one like last year where they only ran one race at the Glen?
I don't know. They might do more races because I know like they talked to Kimmy about doing more NASCAR races, and he said he's not sure. Like he doesn't have anything scheduled right now, but I mean, you never know. Maybe he'll change his mind and be like, "Hey, I want to do another race," or maybe he'll do Watkins Glen again.
Okay. Maybe we'll put Jimmie Johnson in the car to make up for the fact that he didn't even make it a quarter of a lap in the COTA.
And then Jimmy's gonna wreck in the first turn.
Oh my God! If that happens, I'm done. I think Jimmie would be done too. He's like, he'd be like, you know what? Cancel the contract. I'm not racing any more races.
He said, "Can I see that contract real quick?"
Oh, poor guy. Because he crashed in Daytona too, didn't he? No, he finished.
No, he crashed.
No, he did crash. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Bad
Poor
luck,
Jimmie.
The
bad luck has just because he didn't have a great last full season. Last time he was in NASCAR, then he comes back and the NASCAR god is like, you know what? We weren't done with you yet.
We remember you.
You're that 7-time champion everyone keeps talking about.
Guess what? You're not gonna escape this bad luck.
knock, bitch. Guess who's back? Oh God! You got any more notes on COTA before we look up points?
No. I think that's it. I think we pretty much hit everything we want to talk about.
All right, now skedaddling on into points. This is fun. This is a fun points. Kyle Busch has taken over the points lead, followed by everyone's best friend, Ross Chastain. We got Kevin Harvick in third, followed by Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney. Actually, Kevin Harvick and Logano are tied for points for third and fourth. And then we got Ryan Blaney in fifth. Moving on to sixth, we have Christopher Bell, followed by Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Martin Truex Jr., Tyler Reddick up into ninth now with that win. And then Brad Keselowski to round out the top 10 here.
So I got Chastain, Kyle, Logano, Harvick, Bell in the top 5. And then Blaney, Cindric, Truex Jr., Keselowski, and then Reddick in the top 10. And what's funny is that Logano and Harvick are also tied for third.
Oh, really? So they're tied on both the points sheets.
Yeah, which is kind of funny.
Nice. Actually, I'm looking at I got 2 ties, actually. I have Logano and Harvick tied for third, and I actually have Blaney and Bell tied for fifth.
There's a pretty decent point spread between them.
Look at that. I just realized there were 2 ties here. That's pretty cool. Anyway, now that we've looked at the top 10 there, any drivers you want to look at for Cup points?
What about Byron?
He is 31st in points.
Jesus. He is 22nd.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, what about Haley?
Justin? Well, he finally got out of the negatives.
Not at my book.
Oh, really? Yeah, for the DVR points, he's no longer negative. He actually picked up a ton of spots getting out of the negatives. So let me see. What did I say? Byron was 31st? So it looks like Justin Haley, if I counted right, is 41st in points.
For some reason, they have him listed as 48th. But there's like only 41 cars.
48th, probably the part-time cars or something like that.
Yeah, because Connor Daly has 1 point, and Justin Haley still has -7.
Yeah, so on my sheet, he's 41st in points. He's got 17 points to his name currently.
God.
He is last of the full-time drivers. Just another fun explanation for the audience who didn't watch the Daytona video or don't remember. I'm also adding in part-time drivers and drivers not eligible for points onto my points sheet, just so it's easier for me to distribute points to make sure that I get them in accurately. And so, yeah, Justin Haley is 41st on the points sheet from everybody who started a Cup race this year and last full-time. So he is ahead. The drivers he's ahead of would be Jordan Taylor, Josh Bilicki, Jimmie Johnson, Connor Daly, Kimi Räikkönen, and yeah, those are the drivers he's ahead of. Oh, those poor Hendrick cars! They're so far down to the points because of that penalty. Also, here's my fun nugget that I was teasing you about before.
Bowman actually got up pretty high in the points. He's 16th.
Oh my God! Yeah, he's actually.
Larson, on the other
he's
hand,
16th.
Is 27th.
Ooh, let me see where. Who'd you say, Bowman? Yeah, because I noticed that. I thought I did the points wrong for a second because of how high Bowman was. Well, let me see where he is on mine now.
Yeah, he's 16th.
He is 23rd on the DVR sheet.
Wow.
Which is still very high compared to everybody else.
Yeah, because Elliott's 32nd, Larson's 27th, and I think Byron's still 22nd.
Yeah, because for me, Byron's 31st. We already talked about that, but Kyle Larson's right behind him in 32nd. God, if Alex Bowman hadn't had that 100 points penalty, he would be the points leader right now not by a huge margin, but he would be the points leader by a pretty decent chunk.
Yeah, I think he would be too.
Here's my fun nugget. Something I really think should be noted. I talked earlier, like a few minutes ago, how well Corey LaJoie is doing with that Spire number 7. Guess where he is on the DVR points right now, which I actually wasn't prepared for.
15th?
Nope. He's currently sitting 12th on the DVR points sheet.
Wow.
He's just outside the top 10.
Corey LaJoie is gonna win the championship.
That'd be great. I think he's 3 points out of 10th right now on the DVR sheet. So I think that deserves a shout out. So look at them go. Meanwhile, you have Ty Dillon. I don't even want to count the spaces down to Ty Dillon.
Oh, don't do Ty Dillon like that.
Yeah, but that's how the points shake out. I really felt like Corey LaJoie and the Spire team really deserved a shout out for being 12th in the DVR points. So before we wrap it up here, do you have any closing thoughts?
Nope. I think I'm good.
All right. Well, this weekend we're going to Richmond. Richmond for Xfinity and Cup, Texas for the truck race. And so not really looking forward to the truck race because Texas, but looking forward to Richmond. Richmond's usually a pretty good race.
Yeah, pretty good. It's been pretty decent so far. I feel like the racing there has been pretty decent. Like it's been pretty racy. So excited to see how
is Junior racing this one?
I think he is actually. Yeah, I think he's racing the Xfinity Series.
Because I know he usually does Richmond and or Martinsville, and so I can't remember if he was racing this one or if he was racing the other one. But we can wait for the entry list then, I guess, and make our picks. Hopefully this time we'll be more on top of that and not make them the last minute like we did for COTA. But so if you don't follow us on social media, make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Donahue_Vargas for our race picks every weekend. And I guess, Chris, if you don't have anything else that you want to add to this, we'll wrap it up. We'll see you guys after Richmond.
Yep. See you guys later.